Hello, my name is Andrew Koleski, and this is my research paper video for science class. And my topic and title for this research paper, my title was Different Costs of Water Between Countries. And I did this because I wanted to see what different countries did and how they worked with their water systems and how that affected them. And as you can see in the right side, there's a picture or a map of the world. And as you can see, the world is a pretty big place. And I think I thought it was nice to get to learn about that stuff. And also I did it because I kind of have experience from afar. I've lived in 3 different countries, the United States, Ecuador, and Malawi. And each country had their own different ways of working water. And then the first thing I really talked about was water availability. On the right side, we have kind of a chart. This was made in 2004, so it is a little old, but it's UNICEF and WHO. And it's basically an access to an improved water source. They wanted to see what percentage of countries had that. As you can see, in most of North America, they have more than 95%, so well above the world average. However, if you go to a continent like Africa, you will see that the majority of countries have a less than 65%, which is much less than the world average. And in 2013, the United Nations said that 783 million people did not have access to clean water, and almost 2.5 billion do not have access to adequate sanitation. And I also wanted to look at the causes, and one of the causes that I have seen and I learned about was living habitat, and I want to highlight that. And on the top you see here's a little African town or African village, and on the bottom is somewhere you might see in the United States. But also the World Wildlife Fund in 2015 highlighted some other causes, and theirs was development, logging, pollution, agriculture, and poor management. Here, and I also wanted to really zone in on Africa, since I tend to think that that's the place that tends to have less water a lot of the time, and these pictures are showing that. On top are 2 women trying to find water in a very dry place, and on the bottom is a kid trying to find water. The company Global Change in 2006 noted that the population is growing rapidly, which puts more pressure on our water supply, so demand is decreasing, and the amount of water is effectively reduced by pollution and contamination, which means supply is decreasing. Luckily, there have been improvements in the world. The Millennium Development Goals Report in 2012 highlighted this, and that was done by the United Nations. On the right hand is just the flag of the United Nations. But they found that the world has met the MDG drinking water target 5 years ahead of schedule, and that the number of people using improved drinking water sources reached 6.1 billion in 2010, which is up by over 2 billion since 1990. Some remaining problems are kind of the differences in the urban and the rural areas. A picture of an urban city is on top. Rural is the bottom picture. The UN found that the gap between urban and rural areas still remains wide, with the number of people in rural areas without an improved water source 5 times greater than in urban areas. Conclusion, basically what I learned is that each country is different, and that also basically just because somebody lives in a country that's developed, that doesn't mean that there is not going to be water sanitation problems or water availability problems. And I also learned about the United States. Like in my last slide, I also noted the differences between urban and rural areas. So there's still differences, and there's still hardships when it comes to water in any country. I thought it was pretty helpful, and pretty much just learning about that. And basically for the future, I guess I'll just I'll be more careful, and I'll be more aware of how I use my water and how I preserve the water. And this is, as you can see, my works cited page. Thank you very much.